Now go.
Oh, welcome. Today has been fun 3 times over.
We're loving today, aren't we, Paul?
Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time tuning in with us, there is a link down on the feed. If you plan on purchasing anything, just fill that out, and that will give us all of our information. If you need stuff shipped to us, we ship inventory on Saturdays. It is a $9.99 flat fee for shipping. And of course, if you are local, you can just stop by the store and pick them up. So, I am Paul. This is Eric. This is the third time we've done this.
So you're getting good at it.
We
glad.
we apologize for any delay. But let's get cracking.
We're not going to discuss why we had a delay. Ever.
We're going to start off with DC's Future State. It's a 2-month kind of event, peek into the future. So we're going to go just run through this top shelf because we already did this. The next Batman, Luke Fox, son of Lucius Fox. It's really good. There's the regular cover. There's the variant. The next Batman story was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You actually get to meet the Fox family. There's 2 backup stories in this issue. One is The Outsiders with Duke Thomas, who was the Signal, is still the Signal, and Katana. And then the other backup story is Arkham Knights with the great granddaughter of Abraham.
Amadeus.
Why do I keep saying Abraham? It's like Danny Coates all over again. So that's a good read. If you're looking for the future of Batman, it's there. Next up, Harley Quinn. Really good. If you like Harley, you're going to like this. Next to that, as we said 6 times already, Swamp Thing, Future State. Fantastic. If you love Swamp Thing, you're going to love this. It has been our favorite of the Future States so far.
100%.
Yeah. Whereas most of the future states are like 10, 15 years in the future, this is an unspecified decades, if not hundreds of years in the future. There's no more mankind. It's just Swamp Thing and his kind of kids. They're sprung from the earth. They're very similar to him. And then last up, which one we didn't get to yet, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it very much. The writing and art by Joel Jones was awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know, it didn't give me as much a sense of the character as I would have liked. However, I definitely liked everything in it enough that I'm looking forward to the second issue.
I thought it was really fun because instead of, Wonder Woman can be fairly stoic and, just sometimes. Like, she's like youthful and like fun and sarcastic, and there's like this like pixie elfie type character that she interacts with, and they're a lot of fun together.
And this version of Wonder Woman, Yara Flor, is supposedly getting her own TV show on the CW at some point.
Yes indeed. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Wonder Girl, right?
Yes.
You can't use Wonder Woman,
which is unfortunate, but
DC and Warner Brothers hate themselves for some reason. So next up on the next shelf, we've got the Eternals by
Kieran Gillen, who I love. Love his journey into mystery. Love his Young Avengers. I've yet to read a bad Kieran Gillen comic. He's my favorite. And Assad Ribic on art is like,
yes.
You cannot go wrong with that.
The main cover right here, that is a Ribic cover. There were so many covers for Eternals. I pulled a couple of the best. So next to it, I think we've got the Jenny Friesen one, or no? Is that one? Bartel version. That you got the Sprite character. Next to that is the Del Mundo, and then the one on the end there is the amazing Alex Ross, of course.
Yeah, the Alex Ross cover is the one I went with. It's really good. I mean, you can't go wrong with Alex Ross.
No. If there's an option between this and Alex Ross, I'll take Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe Walt Simonsen, but that's like a very strong maybe.
I mean, there's plenty of awesome artists out there. if you're not familiar with the Eternals, Eric's going to tell you about them.
Yeah, so the Eternals are these sort of entities that were designed by the Celestials. So basically, this big, massive Marvel space entities. They're godlike, but they're very
space gods.
Yeah, they're space gods basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you have two types. You have the regular Eternals and the ones called the Deviants, who are sort of these entities that are misshaped and misformed. And in addition to protecting the interests of the Celestials, it's the job of the Eternals to defeat them. The Eternals are a book that is very hard to get right because it can come across very sort of stiff upper lip, kind of just not as interesting. But I think Kieran Gillen makes the voices unique enough that the characters are interesting.
Yeah. No, this is. I was telling Eric earlier. I think this is my favorite version of the Eternals that I've read. I read the Neil Gaiman, which is good, which this kind of picks up kind of afterwards, and then I've read some of the other stuff, but I can't think of any creators' names. But this has definitely been the best accessible version.
Definitely, I loved this issue.
Yeah,
and some of the ways the issue is structured kind of reminded me of how Jonathan Hickman does issues, because there's a few like charts and info pages. Yeah. And as someone who's enjoying Hickman's X-Men stuff, I really appreciated that, because I didn't have a lot of background on the Eternals prior to reading this. I've only read the Neil Gaiman series. So it was really cool to have these pages that sort of gave me more insight into the characters and how they work.
Yes, thoroughly enjoyable. It's a good jumping on point if you're anticipating the movie, if it ever comes out. This is going to be probably the best introduction.
2027.
Yeah. It's very good.
Indeed.
Right, moving on. We've got all of most of this week's King in Black stories here. We've got the Return of the Valkyries. We've got the regular cover. Then we've got this beautiful cover right here. What is that? Oh yeah, Art Germ. Of course it's Art Germ. It's always Art Germ.
Art Germ does good work.
Unless it's Alex Ross.
Unless it's Alex Ross.
Is that just the new tagline of this show?
Yes. Return of the Valkyries is really good. Picks up with Jane Foster taking the Sentry's spirit to Valhalla. Of course, the Sentry was killed by Null in the very first King in Black issue.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Which we did talk about.
Jamie will be disappointed.
Yes. But
Does he like the Sentry?
No, he hates the Sentry.
Oh, wonderful.
I very much enjoyed this. It is Jane Foster, and then we meet what's her name? What name did they give her?
I don't remember if they said a name, but this is
it's the Tessa Thompson version, basically.
Yes.
And she's already like in her own like purgatory, and then like Jane Foster kind of accidentally gets her out. And then there's going to be more Valkyries to come. So
it's implied that we'll see some Danny Moonstar, which you guys know I love X-Men, so I'm excited to see what they do more with Danny in this series. I also really liked it. Thor stuff is not always stuff I'm familiar with. I read some of it, but I felt that this issue was very accessible, even if you're not super familiar with the Valkyrie lore in Marvel. Really, the only background reading I would recommend for this is King in Black stuff, which, if you're interested in this, you're probably reading anyways.
Yeah, who is it? Somebody good wrote this too. Oh,
Aaron.
Aaron, yeah. Next to that, we've got the Symbiote Spider-Man #3. Continuing, we've covered the first 2 issues. It's continually to be good. As you can see on the front there, Monica Rambeau shows up. I won't tell you how. She's there. Kang is there. Kang and Rocket Raccoon teaming up just like they did in the first issue.
What a duo.
Yeah, it's odd. It's fun, but it's odd.
Yeah.
And it's like fun. Both Symbiote Spider-Man and Monica Rambeau encounter Kang, and they both try to like fight him, like, and he's like, you idiots, I'm trying to help you.
Speaking of my definitive Kang is from Kieran Gillen's Siege, to connect to other books.
Next up, we've got King in Black Guardians of the Galaxy. This is part of the Guardians ongoing series, but it's the King in Black tie-in. It's issue number 10. You read this one, right?
Yeah, I read it. It definitely had a lot of stuff from the Guardians ongoing that I'm not familiar with.
Same here.
However, I really liked the issue. The Peter Quill we see in this issue is maybe not the Peter Quill that everyone familiar with the movies has seen. He's gone through some stuff in the series, but I really liked it. I thought it did good with the King in Black stuff. Also, some great character work with Star-Lord. And just a heads up for people who are coming at Guardians of the Galaxy from the movies, this is a very different team.
Completely different lineup, other than Rocket. I think he's the only
Rocket and Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Though it is implied that the next issue will have Gamora.
Okay. I agree. Like, if you aren't following Guardians of the Galaxy, the current series, like, it's a bit jarring, but at the same time, it's good enough that if you aren't reading it, it's good enough you want to go back and read it.
Yeah, it's Al Ewing. Like, if he's one of those writers like Kieran Gillen, like Donny Cates, like G. Willow Wilson, where whatever they touch is probably pretty good.
Yes. Right. Following up, Venom, King in Black. Really good. Really, really good. I mean, no spoilers, but it's really good. If you're familiar with the character of Rex from Donny Coates's Swamp Thing.
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
Pokemon?
From his Venom run. Like, he's in it. It's a bit of a confusing, convoluted part of the story, but it's good, and I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Next to that
one of
is
the best books of the week.
Donny Cates' Thor. It's Donny Cates week here. And we're not even done.
Isn't it just Donny Cates' year, really?
I think so.
It's only 6 days into it.
It's got to be somebody's.
But Thor, so good. It is so good. If you have been waiting to read it, pick up the first volume trade and just start reading it, because it is fantastic. It is the best Thor I've read.
Paul and Rose have been yelling at me to read Donny Cates' Thor pretty much the whole time I've been on shift, so I'm probably going to have to read it.
I mean, it's not as big on, like, mythology as, like, a lot of the other Thor runs. It's just, like, go. Like, every issue, something happens, and it's really good. And this one, man...
Isn't that, in theory, what every comic is supposed to be? Something happens every issue?
Have you read some of these books?
I mean, you're right.
Not the ones that we carry.
Yes.
Right.
Not on this show, but there are certainly comics that can be slow.
I will say, last page of Thor, surprise appearance, and I'm not going to spoil it.
Is it John Cena?
I don't know, because I couldn't see it.
Okay.
But no, last page, anybody with any sense of fun is going to love it.
Oh, that's exciting.
The last one over there on the bottom there.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Wars.
I've been excited for this for a while. I tend to be a fan of Star Wars stuff that is as far away from the movies as possible. Not because the movies are bad, but just because I feel like those are areas that are very explored areas in the expanded universe. So it's always cool to see stuff that lets us see other parts of the world, or in this case, other time periods. So this is set about at least 1,000 years before the prequels. It's not really clear exactly how long. Though we do get like the equivalent of young Yoda. He makes an appearance in the issue. And I think it's really cool. This is just a fun issue following a Padawan on her Jedi trial, and some cool stuff happens. I don't want to spoil it.
She is nuisanced and befriended by an awesome little, like, flying frog
yes,
creature, and that was a really fun little
and
combo there.
For those of you that don't know, the High Republic is not just a comic series. There's going to be some novels, there's going to be some standalone graphic novels, and a series from IDW as well, the Star Wars The High Republic Adventures. The cool thing about this project, though, is that it is specifically written so that you don't have to read everything to know what's going on. There are some novels that also came out, I believe, this week or soon, or I don't know the exact dates on that, but I didn't read any of them, and I still completely got into the issue and had a great time reading it. And I think if you like Star Wars, you will too.
And there's a lot of hype about this issue, obviously, because there's a lot of new first appearances, and
Mhm.
you know,
There's the Gorn.
Yeah.
it's wrong universe.
But he isn't. There's also
Dalton wants a copy.
brief appearance of Yoda.
Yep.
I don't think that's a spoiler or anything.
Yeah, no, they like said that months ahead of time that he was part of this. I really liked Creve Trennis, who is the protagonist of this issue. It's unclear if this series is going to follow one character or have a rotating cast. So that's something to be on the lookout for with the next couple of issues. But if you want some fun Star Wars in your life, something that's not super depressing or upsetting, this issue is perfect for you.
Already got a copy.
No, because Dalton wanted
Oh,
it.
Dalton wants it.
Yes.
Pay attention, Brian.
Sorry.
It's a day. It's
Oh.
a day.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry if that was mean.
What we got? Can you see over here?
No. Everything's placed perfectly.
Okay. Well, then we'll get back to it. Second batch of new releases this week. I forgot what I put up there.
MODOK.
MODOK, written by Patton Oswalt, in conjunction to the new show. It's got some characters in it that will be in the new show. So if you're excited for that, if you like Patton Oswalt, if you like MODOK,
And who doesn't, really?
this book is for you.
Who doesn't like floating heads?
Although I've always pictured him sounding like a Dalek.
Yeah,
You know, like hearing him as Patton Oswalt is kind of weird,
yeah,
but
definitely.
still fitting.
I picture a much more
Oh,
mechanical
is he
voice.
going to do the voice of
Yeah.
MODOK? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I still see him as Krang.
That's perfect.
You're
too.
right.
There's a scene in this issue which you would be like, it's Krang. I promise.
Because he's
so-
stuck in the belly of like a big.
Do you want me to spoil it? I mean, it's not a big spoiler.
No.
It's not
No,
a big
no
thing. It's not a
spoilers.
big thing.
No.
Not a, okay.
If you spoil it, you'll be banished.
Okay. Eric, next up, we've got The Last Witch.
Yes. So this was another comic that was just so much fun. I don't read a lot of non-superhero comics, mostly for time reasons. I have so many comics to read in general that I don't always get the chance to branch out. And I read this at the recommendation of Paul, and I really liked it. If you like Ireland, if you like witches, if you
Like Ireland.
What's not to like about Ireland, right? I mean,
potatoes, everyone loves potatoes. Sorry, bad joke.
stereotype much?
I
Jeez.
am of Irish descent.
You're going to get us canceled.
But yeah, The Last Witch was a really fun story. It follows, some young children who go on a quest to find a witch's tower, and I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Yes. It's a lot of fun. It is a youth book. It's not, it's not grim and gritty. It is written for kids, not kids, but, teenagers, young teenagers. It's really good.
But I think there's a lot for adults to like here too.
I mean, yeah, it's an all ages fun, good adventure.
And I think this truly is an all ages book.
Yeah.
It's not all ages in the sense that, it's kids and their parents. This is like, no matter what age you are, I think this is a book you can enjoy and have a lot of fun with.
Yeah, I concur.
M would like a copy of MODOK, please.
Does she need issue number 1?
If so, we will get one for
We'll
her.
find it. We'll figure it out.
Next up over there, we've got yes,
Scout's Honor.
Scout's Honor. Yet another
Topical.
topical, yes, apocalyptic version of America. I actually hesitated not putting this up today, but no, it's good. It's the premise is that the world has blown itself up, and the only survivors that we're introduced to at first are, kind of like an offshoot of the Boy Scouts, a version of like the Boy Scouts. And so 200 years in the future, after the radiation has died down, there's a new civilization run on the premise of being a scout. And it's a fairly misogynistic society, to the point where the girls can't be scouts. And then we have follows one main character who's a scout, and it's really good. At the end of the issue, they come across some things that may upset all of society. It's good.
But moving on from that is
is
the store favorite.
the book of the year.
Who wrote that?
I forget.
No, I mean, who's writing the book of the year? The
Abraham Arkham.
Donnie Cates.
Oh, Donnie Cates. He writes that one book.
Yeah, he you may have heard of him once or twice. We have been restocked on issues 1 and 2, so I got those up here. It is easily the best book of the past 12 months, like arguably.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the stuff that just gets casually brought up is really interesting. How he's just able to mention licensed properties without any kind of pushback. I really like the series.
What's it about?
Yes.
We've gone over this twice before.
Yeah, but we have new viewers now that may not have seen our previous shows.
5 years ago, an event happens which brings all of the comic book characters in publication into the real world in, I think it's outside of Denver.
That sounds right.
And so they become encapsulated. All of these comic book characters, superheroes, villains, just regular background characters, human beings in these universes, and becomes force field bubbled by magicians, by magic people. We don't know who. It's alluded to some people. But outside of the bubble, the rest of the world goes on. There's a lot of anti-comic book backlash. There's religious groups that are anti-comic books, anti-capers. And the main characters run a comic book shop that gets burnt down. That's issue 1.
Yeah. That was a hell of a way to start the series.
Yeah. It's like, it's written in such a great, fantastic, just, it flows like pretty much anything he writes. Like it's so easy to read. And like he said, there's so many just like references. If you were a comic reader in the 90s, issue 3, you are going to love. That just like Thor had a last page reveal, like this has a last page reveal, and it's so good. It's so good. It made me giddy. If you're a 90s comic fan.
I really like the character Ellie, who's the main character of this series.
She's very relatable, very likable, very spirited.
Yes. I don't know. I have not been able to say anything bad about a Donnie Cates book so far. He's good at writing a variety of stories, and I think that this is definitely the most unique story I've seen him tell, because it's a comic about comics, but also not.
No, it's great. Issue 3 starts with the narration of there's a comic book where a squid destroys a city and the world unites, and like it's that sort of thing, like throughout the whole series.
All fine.
Where like he just makes these references to books, and you're like, oh my god. It's like pop-up video. You're like, oh my god.
This is why we talk about them, because Dalton would like all 3 issues.
Oh, good.
Good on you, Dalton.
We have more copies. We are running, I think we're out of the copy A for number 1, but we do have a couple variant covers as well.
Are those first printings of the number 1 and 2?
They are
right?
first printings, yes. Still first printings. I don't think the second printing has come out yet. And just because we're taking these doesn't mean we don't have more.
Yes. This is always just for new issues. This is always just what we have for display for the show, but we usually have more.
All right. Since we sold out of crossover, just kidding. We're going to move on down to the bottom. These are just variant covers. If I haven't brought it up in the past, I'm a fan of the Alien movies.
I like the first one. That's the only one I've seen.
Oh my god.
What?
Paul hates you now.
There were 7 Alien
Watched it for school.
variant covers through Marvel this week because next month Marvel is launching an Alien series. With the whole Disney buying Fox, Disney owns the rights to the Alien series now. All of those awesome Dark Horse books that have been around since the late 80s, those are all out of print. Those are all gone. All the trade paperbacks are gone. You can't get them anymore.
For now.
So let's move on to the variants. Right here, amazing. Right here, amazing. Right here, amazing. I can't reach over there. Amazing. Amazing and amazing. And then, coincidentally, the last thing is also amazing, but that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, literally amazing in this case.
I'll just put it up there since crossovers go.
Can we hold up that Venom versus
This one here?
the Alien up to the
Yes.
camera? That one is probably my favorite out
It
of
is
all of them.
gorgeous.
You can go a little closer.
And if Danielle is watching, yes, these are already in your box. And this is our last of the Iron Man covers. That one down there. But the Guardians cover, that's amazing. Gorgeous alien queen. And this, the Thor cover, that is done by Daniel Warren Johnson, the guy who did Wonder Woman Dead Earth, that Black Label book. His artwork is awesome and unique.
No, you can totally tell.
Yeah. It's like he's got a style and it's awesome. Whew, yeah. I'm very excited about the Alien ones.
I never would have guessed.
We may have a little more Alien later on.
Or, no.
Or right now. With that segue, let's take a look at our first batch of back issues. And we'll start specifically with the Alien books. Right here, Dark Horse Presents number 36. The variant cover, cover B. Dark Horse Presents was a book Dark Horse was doing late 80s through early 90s, and then I think they revived it later on, where it was just a collection of short stories by creators and artists. It encompassed like all of their licensed property. So later on, you'd find like Indiana Jones stuff in there. This one specifically is the first Alien vs. Predator. Never before was there an Alien vs. Predator. This right here, this is the first Alien vs. Predator.
Was that before the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Before, yes, it was before the movie.
I don't know. I don't know my time.
You're exasperating me.
Sorry that I'm not as big a horror fan as you are.
Next to that, we've got a collection of the Dark Horse Presents. This one is not in here because this is Alien vs. Predator. This is just Aliens. This is 5 of the Aliens stories from the Dark Horse Presents series. This is the Platinum Edition. We also have the regular version. It's got the red font, it's got the Dark Horse logo. Its colors inside don't pop as much, and it is in a little less, it's in a little more damaged shape than the Platinum Edition. The Platinum Edition is gorgeous, it's perfect. Next to that, everyone's favorite Alien movie, Alien 3, issue number 1 of a 3-part miniseries. This artwork blows my mind. That is gorgeous. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like, I want a poster of this.
So I'm just curious. Like, everyone thinks Alien 3 is the best?
It's,
of the-
yes, everyone. Everyone thinks Alien 3 is the best.
I cannot tell if he's being sarcastic or not.
If anybody at home is familiar with the Alien movies, they know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Is that the one with the kid?
No, that's Aliens. No, Alien 3 is notoriously the worst, unless you count the 4th one, which is the most divisive. I love it. A lot of people love it. Some people hate it. That's the one where she's a clone.
Mm-hmm. The 3rd one is where she makes out with the alien queen.
Yes, that's the famous where the inner mouth comes up next to her. Yeah.
Ew.
Great movies. All right, so moving up, we've got a couple G.I. Joes because everybody seemed to be happy that we had some G.I. Joe books last time. right here, number 60, that features art by none other than Todd McFarlane. Not on the cover, but on the inside.
That's dope.
That is early Todd McFarlane. Everybody loves some McFarlane.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Oh, okay.
Next to that is possibly the most important comic book that Eric will ever come across. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, number 48. That is the introduction of Sergeant Slaughter.
Listen, I like wrestling, okay?
So if you guys don't buy it, Eric will.
Maybe. Well, I have a lot of things I gotta buy.
Next to that, this is the earliest comic book I ever owned.
Dun, dun,
Like,
dun.
sincerely, honestly. Of course, mine was covered in crayons and ripped to bits.
Oh.
The A-Team number 2, you got B.A. Baracus fighting a sumo wrestler. It is amazing. There were only 3 issues of the A-Team comic, and I owned one of them.
Because it wasn't popular, or?
I mean, I was 4 years old. I couldn't tell you
Oh, okay.
the reasoning behind it.
Understood.
But, man, did I tear that book apart.
Speaking of topical,
Yes. If it wasn't for Ronald Reagan, I don't think we would have the A-Team. So we've got Reagan's Raiders, the ultimate patriotic superheroes book.
oh no.
Yes.
Who is that published by?
That is published by Solson.
Of
Wow.
course it was
One
Solson.
of the big publishers.
Yes. As I was flipping through, checking the condition
course
of
it
it,
was
I
Sunrise.
happened upon the middle splash page. And it is, the middle splash page is similar to the cover where it's them, all the Reagan's Raiders dropping out of a helicopter or whatever. And up close, it features Ronald Reagan saying, "It's time to party."
Would-
And at that point, I knew one of you wanted it.
Is he also gonna like start singing the Venga Bus? You know, we like to party. We
Yes.
like to party.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
But it's interesting that like presidential inserts in comics are not a new
Oh,
thing
no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
because like they just had like this run of like there were Trump comics and Bernie and AOC and all
Yeah.
of these and
then Obama.
people thought that it was like incredibly novel, but it's really been around.
It
Absolutely.
has. I'm pretty sure there was a Jimmy Carter one.
Mm-hmm.
But DC, notably, DC typically does not use like the real presidents or in their comics. They have like some fakey
Yeah.
president.
I think Marvel does that too.
But just like specifically featured that or popes.
The one
Yes.
the one exception to that I can think of is a Bob Haney Teen Titans story that didn't get published until the 2000s that explicitly had JFK in it.
Yeah. Yeah, JFK and the Beatles have shown up every once in a while.
Is that a
Well,
what if?
And
It-
Hitler.
it's-
No, it was a story he wrote in the 60s but didn't get published. Oh, maybe it was a what if, I'm not sure. I own that somewhere.
So next to that, next to Ronald Reagan, we have Generation X #1 in that beautiful, beautiful chromium cover.
Extreme.
I mean, it's in excellent condition. It really, really is. I think whoever originally bought it was blinded by the chromium and was never able to read it.
I think that the 90s should be the chromium age of
Yes.
comics.
I mean,
I concur.
this is a cool book to me because it's the one that really solidifies Emma Frost as like caring about her students. Because the first time you see her as a teacher, she's kind of awful, like when she blew up Firestar's horse. But Generation X is really a lot of people attribute Grant Morrison to when she had her turn from being a villain to more of a hero, but really it was Generation X that did that. So
I think there should be some first appearances in that, unless they were showing up in New Mutants beforehand, or 'cause,
not sure.
I didn't see anything of note.
Okay.
Jumping down, we're going to hit up. We've got 2 Nick Fury #1s. The one on the right is a one-shot. Came out in 1993 or 94. So that's going to be a standalone story. You don't need anything else. The one next to that, another beautiful chromium cover. And this was an ongoing series.
What a cover.
Yeah, just look at that.
Nick Fury looks pretty buff in that.
Yeah, it's
How many pouches is he wearing?
It's like if Nick Fury was Cable.
Drawn by. Is that a
I,
Liefeld book?
it, I don't believe so. This was 95.
Certainly one of his acolytes, if nothing else.
And then next to that, we've got a wonderful classic X-Men number 9 with that awesome Phoenix cover.
So this is actually a reprint of the issue where Phoenix makes her first appearance with some new material. I don't remember what the backup for this particular issue is, but as someone who loves the Phoenix, this is a great issue to have, especially because it's not quite as expensive as having the actual issue, but it has all that content and more, and plus just a solid cover.
Finishing up over here, we've got the entire 8-issue series of Elektra Assassin, written by Frank Miller, artwork by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Right.
Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz. Mm-hmm.
The covers alone are magnificent, and the artwork inside is just as good.
Coincidentally, my favorite New Mutants artist.
He's if it's not Alex Ross,
It's Bill Sienkiewicz.
yes. So issue number 1 is going to be $6. Issue number 2 is $4, simply because there's a little stubbed corner there. Other than that, these are all in excellent condition. The rest of them are $5 each. Putting it at, if you wanted all of them, it's $40, but we'll knock it down to $35 if you want the whole set. Rose, were you thinking?
No,
I did the math earlier.
I wasn't doing that.
You pre-prepared with all the math. That's good.
See, that's your job. My job is the production.
Making sure the microphone works.
Yep.
Yeah, my job's just to yell about comics.
And you're doing a fine job. Speaking of which, Eric is now joining us permanently.
Yes.
Ruben has decided to pursue a master's degree, so he'll be going back to school, and we're very proud of him for that.
Yes, we are.
Good luck, Ruben.
And so Eric will be filling that spot.
Until we find someone better.
Oh, so next week?
No.
All right. If you guys are all done over there, we're going to head over to our next batch of back issues. Eric, you want to take over?
Mes amis, can I present you some Gambit? Everybody's...
No.
That's quite possibly the worst.
Oh, that was bad on purpose.
Oh, okay.
That was
Sure.
intentionally bad. Listen, who doesn't love the character with the consistently worst comic accent? I love me a bad Claremont accent, and I also love me some Gambit. Coincidentally, one of my friends who I talk X-Men with a lot, it's her favorite character, so I'm happy to see some Gambit here. This was, I believe, his first solo series. Is that right? Was this his first?
That is his first ongoing solo series.
Okay.
I believe he had a mini series.
So this is the first 4 issues of his ongoing series.
Make sure take note of that golden foil cover.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who doesn't love golden foil covers?
No one. No one doesn't love it. I don't know.
Yeah. Great covers. I think, is that Black Panther? It looks like him, but
It's a very skinny beast.
It appears to be.
I
yeah.
don't know. He's got kind of long claws.
Tiny legs.
It's either Black Panther, the weirdest beast I've ever seen.
I don't know who that. Well, I mean, open up the comic and read it,
Yeah.
and we'll see.
If you want to know, it's here at $6.
If you're curious about a mystery that Eric presented,
So I don't have a huge issued comic book collection. I had to get rid of a bunch. I do own all 4 of those Gambits.
Nice.
Just quality.
Are you a big Gambit fan, Rose?
No.
Oh, okay. You just like
No, I
those-
was. He was my favorite in the animated series.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I have all that and Mutant X.
Oh,
If you ever want the whole run of Mutant X, come to me.
love me some Alex Summers. That's not true. I don't like Alex Summers. All right. Next up, we have some Green Lantern. Green Lantern is coincidentally the first comic I started reading when I regularly got into it. I regularly got into comics with the Jeff Johns Green Lantern run. So this is
Those are all not necessarily majorly significant, but those are all key issues there.
yes.
That first one there is when John Stewart reveals his secret identity.
Hmm.
The next one over is when Hal Jordan quits being a Green Lantern.
I'm done being your whipping boy.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I quit. Right. When I was a kid, I had no idea. I bought that comic, and I had no idea what a whipping boy was.
Oh no.
And then I looked it up, and
Yeah, sad.
I was like, wow, Hal Jordan's like pissed.
The next one over is when Guy Gardner officially becomes the Green Lantern.
Again.
Well, I think it's the first. It's no, because he was never officially the Green Lantern prior to that.
Mm.
It was an It's a Wonderful Life scenario where he would have been
Yes.
Green Lantern and Hal Jordan wasn't.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. So he's Guy Gardner's in the series for like a good 50 issues just as Guy Gardner, and then he becomes the Green Lantern. And then the next one over is his first full issue as
That's awesome.
Green Lantern. Yes.
Guy Gardner is one of those characters that I really love when he's written correctly. He's very hard to make unlikable, but a good Guy Gardner story, is hard to beat. Next we have some Amazing Spider-Man, some Black Suit Spider-Man. So this is Amazing Spider-Man.
I love that
258.
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a solid one.
That's what caught my eye was that awesome cover.
Yeah, between Spider-Man and what we will later learn is more than just a suit fighting over Peter Parker's soul. I assume it's his soul, maybe his body. I'm not sure.
Little of both.
Then we have this creepy face robot. This is the Spider Slayer. Is this the first appearance of the Spider
No,
Slayer?
It's
the
not.
Spider Slayer is like from way back.
Okay.
But that is the issue for the first time ever. Peter Parker, second time, asks Mary Jane to marry her.
Oh, amazing.
Hmm.
So it's the second marriage proposal.
Okay.
You heard me.
There's some logic in there.
Does she say yes?
Well, according to the back cover, which is promoting the wedding issue, I would say yes.
Congratulations, guys.
Next we have Mephisto versus the Avengers #4.
Yes.
Spoilers: Avengers fight Mephisto in it.
That was a 4-issue series.
Yep.
In each issue, Mephisto fought a different person/team.
Interesting.
Yes.
Because wasn't there also a Mephisto versus Fantastic Four miniseries as well?
I think it was just part of that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. We also have.
The best comic ever.
I'm not gonna. I don't co-endorse that, friends. We have Alf and the Uncanned X-Men.
Yes. They're Melman because he's from the planet Melback.
Yes. I love this cover. I don't know anything about the comic in it. Alf was not really my my wheelhouse, but I will never complain about X-Men parodies.
That's his polite way of saying he wasn't born when Alf was on.
Listen,
Let's
there are
just
plenty
get
of things
everybody-
from before I was born that are in my wheelhouse.
View of this cover here. Oh my gosh. Hey, there's some German there at the bottom. You want to try and read that?
Something of Stan Lee.
Stan Lieber.
Yeah, because Lieber is lovely. Or I know a little bit.
Stan Lee's original.
Yeah,
last
no,
name
I
is
know, but it also means lovely in German.
Yeah.
Sagte lieber Augustine is oh you lovely Augustine.
See, that was much better than your French accent.
Well, when I'm actually trying to speak French, my French accent is much better. But when I'm trying to do a bad gambit, yes. And now to our next.
You set these up here. All right. More back issues. I was fairly excited when I came across these. This is a 3-issue story arc written by Louise Simonsen.
I love Louise Simonsen.
Yes, it is such a dated story. If you are a fan of the Nintendo Entertainment System, you're gonna love this.
Why? Pray tell.
Oh boy, somebody is psychically creating video game manifestations.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes. It is that whole awesome.
So it's like pixels.
It's like Pixels, yes.
Except not terrible.
Well, depends on your standards. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's very dated. Louise Simonsen was probably like 50 when she wrote it, maybe 45. But it's somebody who has no idea how video games work writing about video games. There's a scene where Jim Gordon,
Oh
because
no.
he wants to, research these video game monsters, and so he buys a game system, and he's putting what is clearly a Nintendo cartridge backwards into the console,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just amazing. It's so good, and he becomes addicted to it, of course, because video games are a scourge.
I mean, that did happen to my dad playing Space Invaders back in the day,
Yeah.
where he missed a party because he was too busy playing Space Invaders at a bar.
Well, it might be more the bar's fault.
No, he straight up said it was the Space Invaders.
Okay. Moving on. Next to that, we've got Alpha Flight number 10 with that awesome Sasquatch cover.
Folks reading The Immortal Hulk might appreciate
Yes.
some Sasquatch.
Absolutely. This is first in a two-part story of his origin, which has probably been retconned once or twice.
Oh boy.
Yes. Next to that, we've got the Incredible Hulk number 300. It's got like 5 or 6 short stories in there, like all anniversary issues. It's got a good collection of writers and artists.
That is not. Is that the first printing? Because I've seen that comic, but it has a different color cover, I think.
From what I could see, it was the first printing. I mean, I can open it up and see what it says. I think I looked. There was the second printing. The listing I saw had silver lettering. I will double check. While I'm doing this, take a look at the Super Friends here.
For the show I loved growing up, it was on Boomerang all the time, and Justice League is definitely a more serious take on those characters, but Super Friends is just so much fun.
Yeah. One of the things I plan to do when I win the lottery is to buy the Municipal Auditorium on US 41.
It looks so much like the Hall of Justice.
It's the Hall of Justice, and we're just going to move the entire comic shop over there, and it'll be the Hall of Justice.
Are we going to have
the
to
dark
rename the
side.
shop to be Hall of Justice Comics?
We would.
Or like you said, the Hall of Justice at Darkseid would work too.
Right. Something. Once I win the lottery, we'll figure all that out. Like, we'll
Excellent.
hire a lawyer or something.
As far as I can tell from the inside, this is the first printing. There's no mention of a second printing. As I said, when I was looking it up, it said that the lettering was silver, not the cover. So if anybody at home has better insight into that, I mean, they're worth the same. One's not worth more than the other. But still a cool collection of stories. Back to the second row down there, we've got more detective comics. Everybody loves Batman.
What's special about this?
This one, if I can block the camera, is the first appearance of Stephanie Brown as Spoiler.
I did not realize that.
She appeared previously to this, but this is her debut as Spoiler.
Nice issue.
I love Stephanie Brown.
It's only $8, Eric.
He's saving up for the Sergeant Slaughter book.
Sergeant Slaughter book is awesome.
I definitely like Stephanie Brown more than Sergeant Slaughter. So
Can I just say that Sergeant Slaughter in this book, as I was flipping through, he's much more handsome in this comic than he is in real life.
that's not very hard.
They gave him a much nicer chin.
Chins are important.
Next up, we've got Detective Comics number 535. And that is The New Robin. It's not his. I don't know why they're advertising it that way. It wasn't his first appearance. It wasn't his first appearance in costume. Maybe it was his first full adventure.
Was it
But-
Jason or Tim?
Jason.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it is, they are fighting Crazy Quilt, which is always a selling point for me.
Listen, give me some Crazy Quilt, some Kite Man, some Condiment King. Like, I don't always love Batman, but when you put him against the really weird characters, like, my favorite Batman cartoon, like obviously Batman the Animated Series is a masterpiece, but I just love the silly Batman stories. Those are my favorite.
Yes.
So, what psychological defect does Crazy Quilt embody? Do you think? Is it all of Batman's villains have some sort of like psychological component, and so what about Crazy Quilt makes them, a villain?
Obsessive compulsiveness.
Okay.
Because he's crazily quilting all the time. He can't stop. He's obsessive about it.
I understand. That's evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a mad grandma.
I mean, I think this was before that was a thing with the villains.
So when I see Batman and I see those colors,
Mhm.
I immediately think of Rainbow Batman.
Yeah.
This is not related.
Correct.
Can we get that?
yeah. Okay.
The one with all the different, one where his suit is different colors,
Yes.
or he's got all the different color suits.
Well, he has all the different color suits, and then Rob's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "This is just who I am now."
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Next up, Detective Comics number 536, Showdown in the Sewers. That is what's his face?
Killer Croc?
Killer Croc?
No, it is Death. One of the Death guys.
Deadshot?
Will Smith.
Deadshot?
Yes. He's holding somebody hostage there in the sewers. I get all the Death people confused.
Deathlock, Deadshot.
Deathstroke.
Yeah. Deadpool.
Too many deaths. Yes. Next up, this is awesome simply because this is Detective Comics number 601. And the cars. Look at this Batmobile. Look at that. Look at that car. Those are generic 80s futuristic high-end cars there. Those are pseudo Ferraris. They're just amazing. It's like those are what hover cars should have looked like, but these have wheels.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple copies of that. Great condition. Before we move on to the great books, the best books of the night. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Now on to the best books of the night.
Yep.
Mickey Mouse and Goofy explore energy.
Or as I called it, Mickey Mouse and Goofy learn how to build nuclear bombs.
Nuclear, geothermal, solar, natural gas, oil, coal. They got all the options. They're exploring.
That is probably a precursor to all of Epcot and Future World, I'm guessing.
Yes, this is actually Walt Disney Media Company. There's a sequel to this where they explore energy
Conservation?
conservation. That's the word. Yes.
Energy conservation is very important.
Of course, the question mark, which is where they're going. Who knows?
Poughkeepsie, New York.
And then after that, we've got Keebler presents the new Teen Titans. And this, man, it's in cooperation with the President's Drug Awareness Campaign. So you buy this, buy Reagan's Raiders, and you're set.
When Paul pulled that out of the box, I was so excited. Like, this is an infamously ridiculous Teen Titans issue where I forget the exact reason, but for whatever reason, they couldn't use Robin in it. So instead, they used the Protector, a generic superhero who Tom King decided that he needed to traumatize in Heroes in Crisis. Don't read Heroes in Crisis, kids. It's not good. But he decided to put the Protector in it. So that's weird. Fun comic, if bad, but I recommend it because it's so silly and just a good time.
Well, there's a strong history of comics acting as PSAs for different councils and
Absolutely.
things like that. And this is just another one of them. We've seen them like with the dairy board and all sorts of different things, and so
Spider-Man against bullying.
Yes.
And Speedy was later
Yes.
revealed to be a drug addict.
Yes, he was.
On a famous cover.
Yes.
So 2 famous covers. Yeah, well, one really famous one where they're like, "Oh my God, Speedy's on drugs."
My
Every
college
faces.
Mhm.
my college used that Speedy comic cover during a play. Like they were just projecting it on the walls of the theater. I don't remember the context, but I know that's a thing that happened.
All right. We're going to finish up the evening with a batch of $2 books. All these books are $2. $2, $2, $2. We got a whole slew of stuff. We got the X-Men Adventures When Angels Cry.
Is that anything like When Doves Cry?
It is.
Okay.
It's the B-side to that song. There's Marvel Superheroes Incredible Hulk. Who will judge the Hulk? Got
Hopefully not Daredevil.
one of my favorite TV shows when I was a kid, V.
I've only seen the remake. Is the original
The
better?
original is better, but also not good.
I'll take it.
Then we've got some Mighty Thor. So that's all the Mighty Thor. Okay. Oh no, there's another Mighty Thor down at the bottom. Got some Detective Comics. That's actually the same Stephanie Brown issue, but this has a fairly stained back cover. So if you just want to read the story, that's the way to go. If you want to collect it, we've got a better one. Let's see. What else? Justice League Europe. Vigilante #1. Vigilante, again, probably going to be in the Peacemaker TV show.
Vigilante's great.
This comic, not in the back cover, also has stains on it.
What is the history of Vigilante? That was one of the comics in the 80s that I never read. I just never picked it up.
Vigilante's just like a dude with a gun that shoots. He's like Punisher-esque, but maybe not quite as aggressive about it. Because unlike the Punisher, superheroes team with Vigilante all the time, whereas like the Punisher, people really don't like to. I mean, they do it anyways, but they're not
Right.
happy about it usually.
So he's a good character.
I like him.
Okay.
I haven't read a lot with him, but he's okay.
I keep forgetting this thing's back here. Yes. So, what if the Avengers fought the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Now this is once again, this is not the Guardians of the Galaxy from the movies. This is the earlier incarnation from the future, from back in the day.
But these characters actually showed up at the end of the movie. Wasn't that
Yes.
Sylvester
Sylvester
Stallone
Stallone
and
and-
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus? Ugh.
God, I forgot that was Miley Cyrus.
Really? Was that Miley?
And then Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
The Flash, Lex Luthor, and in a Guardians movie.
Yes. And then the last one down there, besides the Thor, is Superboy. So those are all $2.
Superboy and the Legion of
And the
Superheroes.
Legion of Superheroes. Yes.
I like the Legion of Superheroes.
And there's that Mighty Avengers too with Captain Marvel on the cover.
Oh yeah, that one too. I don't know how to skip that over. Yes, another Monica Rambeau right on the cover, just like on the Symbiote Spider-Man.
We also have an issue of the most important comic series of all time, Justice League Europe.
Mm-hmm. Justice League Europe is the best.
I heard that contempt in your voice, Paul.
Justice League International was amazing.
Yes, definitely.
Europe was kind of,
It's like Euro Disney.
yeah.
It's fine.
Europe was like, it was so popular for the international. They were like, you know what? We're going to put all these funny characters in one book and they're going to, yeah. But
I liked the issue of Starman where the Mist beat up the entire Justice League International by herself without trying. That's a good issue. Or Justice League Europe, pardon me.
and that V cover looks pretty amazing.
Yes. I mean, it's in a bit of some rough shape, but man, that sort of image from that show was just so good. That's one of those series that, like, it fell apart at the end, but throughout it, it's good. Great parable for fascism and xenophobia.
Yeah.
Great special effects for the time.
I definitely really like this Angel cover on the X-Men Adventures.
Archangel.
I know.
Oh.
I know it's Archangel.
No, I like that I corrected you on an X-Men thing.
Shouldn't it be when archangels cry?
He's gonna be so mad at me.
Go read X Factor.
And the Thors, what are the issue numbers on those Thors? It's
Those Thors are 211, 291. I can't see that one, but it works below.
404. Yeah.
That's a great cover.
Well, that
404
one has
error.
Odin versus Zeus. That sounds like a
Yeah.
pretty fun comic there.
But it's not versus Zeus. That Odin and Zeus side by side against the Eternals and Thor.
Oh,
What's
and
going on
Eternals.
there?
Yeah.
It's relevant to the movie.
Yeah,
You know, just buy every Eternals comic we have.
yeah, that's a lot.
You know you want to sell for when the movie comes out.
You know, like the original Eternals #1
Mhm.
was like a 25-cent comic. Like it was in the 25-cent bins
Yeah.
forever, and now it's spiking. You know, now everybody wants it. So
Even though it is generally considered to be not Jack Kirby's best work.
No.
But you know, sometimes good writers have off days.
I don't think Jack Kirby was a really great writer.
That's
per
true.
se, you know?
Great
Hey.
with stories and art.
He was,
He's
he
a
could
fantasist.
tell a story
Yeah.
visually, but yeah, if you've ever read his Captain America run where he was writing, oh my god, it's
I like the writing on the Demon.
yeah. Did you didn't grab that Gargoyle comic, did you?
No. That's well, I think I only have issues 3 and 4
Oh,
out
okay.
of a 4-issue series. So if I find 1 and 2, they'll show up.
All right. All right, well,
Should we do some fan casting before the night's over,
Okay,
Eric?
that sounds fun. Let's see who we got.
Yeah, you pick a character. We'll fan cast it.
Ooh, Archangel. Who do we think for Archangel? Or just regular Angel, either one.
Timothy Chalamet.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
That's
Who is
pretty adept right there. That's good.
You want somebody wayfish.
Yeah,
And you're not wrong.
I mean, what's his face in X-Men 3 was good choice. If only the movie was any good.
That's really just half the cast of that movie, honestly.
Dalton wants those two Amazing Spider-Mans. Wasn't it Ben Foster?
Yeah, that's who it was. I knew it was somebody who later got somewhat famous.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think Dalton is the only one that's bought anything tonight, so we should probably
got-
do something nice for him.
M got some stuff.
Oh, M got something too. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Which did she need that first issue of MODOK?
Yes.
Okay,
Said yes.
I will grab that, and we'll get those shipped out soonish. Which I didn't know the shipping was my duty for this, and so her stuff was just sitting there.
Sorry, M.
I talked to her. She's fine.
Yeah, big ones for this week. Eternals was really good. Crossover, wherever that went to.
It's in Dalton's box.
Oh, that's right. Crossover 1, 2, and 3. We still have them. Great. Again, best book of the year. Thor, awesome. I enjoyed Scouts. Was it Scouts Honor? Scouts
Mhm.
something. That one was really good. Eric, you have favorites for the week?
trying to think of what I've read.
The
that
Last Witch. That was your favorite.
Yeah,
for
the Last Witch was excellent. You know, the Swamp Thing issue of Future State. Just trying to think if there's anything I read that we didn't talk about that I want to recommend. I haven't read the issue yet, but another issue of Leah Williams' X Factor came out this week. It's fantastic. It's a really fun book. If you want, like, it was described to me as the most horny of the X books. So if that's something you're interested in, read that. It's also got a very like detective-y feel to it because they're investigating murders and disappearances.
Was that issue 1 of The Last Witch?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
From Boombox Studios, which is the family-friendly version of Boom Studios.
Huh.
Yes.
All right. Well, sorry about all the technical difficulties this week, everybody. We'll have that fixed next time.
We better.
Otherwise, we have pictures of all the different comics that are up.
I threw them up. But...
Okay.
Otherwise, Paul will quit. Just the show.
Open up that Gambit comic and tell me who that character is.
Okay.
Okay, Eric, who do you want to be Gambit besides what's his face? That isn't going to be Gambit.
Channing Tatum.
That's the what's his face.
Yeah,
I know.
that dude. Like, I don't think they want him to be Gambit. I think that
Marvel
they're like,
probably doesn't. No.
yeah. Well, who was Gambit in that one movie, in the Wolverine movie?
That was Taylor Kitsch,
Oh,
who was also John Carter of Mars.
oh.
The only reason it's on the top of my head is because I had to research it one time because my friend insisted that it was what's his face from Supernatural.
No.
And I was like, no, it's not. Like,
Wasn't
no,
he also
it's
in Clash
not.
of the Titans?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
But I was so angry with that movie that I flushed it from my
The
mind.
Clash of the Titans movie?
Yeah.
The one with Liam Neeson? There was wasn't there a sequel to
Yeah,
it? Too?
Wrath of the Titans.
Yeah.
Which I never saw because I was angry. You cannot disrespect Ray Harryhausen like that.
We just got more viewers. I don't
You
know
sound
why.
you sound just like the people that didn't like The Last Jedi and then punished the Han Solo movie because of it.
Mm.
By
Yeah,
not
no,
going
that's
to see
accurate.
it.
That's accurate.
All right, well, keep ranting because we're getting more
Okay.
viewers. I mean,
I cannot figure out who this is.
Well, it's not Ray Harryhausen because nobody has justified his work in
Let me see that book.
remakes.
Okay. I couldn't figure
Um,
out who it was.
They've tried. Peter Jackson's King Kong is probably the best, but that wasn't even Ray Harryhausen. That was, I forget the other guy's name, that Harryhausen did work on King Kong.
All right.
Paul getting very aggressive about movies tonight, folks.
It's some character named Julian.
Yeah, that's all I could find.
Oh, yeah.
So, not Black Panther.
It is
No.
not Black Panther.
Or
It
Beast.
is,
Navy Blue Panther.
Julian.
but just out of I don't know if you knew this or not, Paul, but the Externals actually appear in this comic as well.
The Externals?
Dalton also agrees Wrath the Titan was really bad.
Yeah. If you have eyes, ears, and consciousness. you
So,
know,
so what is this that we're talking about? I was
It's
looking.
better than Gods and
the
Monsters.
Titan movies.
Oh, gotcha.
Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
The Ian McKellen biopic about James Whale? No, you're wrong.
No, with Brendan Fraser. No, there's a Gods of Egypt.
Gods of Egypt. Yeah, different movie.
Very different.
Oh,
From the
whitewashing.
director of Dark City and The Crow, which is really baffling. Alex Proyas. Once so much potential. And he fought Hollywood to make Gods of Egypt, and it was awful.
I never saw it. I did watch Dark City.
Dark City's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I know.
And then the director's cut that they put out on DVD has 5 minutes of extra footage, and it makes it so much better. It adds so much depth to the story.
So who would we one last fan cast
Yes.
question? Who would we fan cast as Sasquatch? As Dr. Walter Lankowski.
In human form and Sasquatch form,
Yeah.
John C. Riley.
Jason Fleming.
I kind of like that, actually.
Well, he's supposed to be an intelligent doctor,
And he played Sasquatch in The Pick of Destiny.
Did not know that.
He was a good Sasquatch.
Yes.
Who did you say?
I said Jason Fleming.
Who was that?
He's probably best known for being the Hyde character in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the movie. But he's just a great British actor. He was in a great George Romero movie called Bruiser. He's in most of Guy Ritchie's movies. He's a fantastic actor. He's got that kind of skinny face that Langdon has. He's awesome. He's awesome.
All right. Well, I think we should probably call it a night, and that was our first cast for this year, right? Yeah, this is the first one. So we're off to a good start for 2021, except for that technical thing or two. But we'll get that fixed and covered, and it'll just get better, right,
Okay.
Paul?
Yes, it's only going to get better. Only going to get better. Again, if there's any back issue comics you want us to dig for, let us know. We'll look for them. Otherwise, it is, to quote Ronald Reagan, it's time to party. You guys have a good night. I'm Paul. This is Eric. This is The Dark Side. Have a good night.